So here we go. Again, we have almost half the deck is monsters, and the other half is terrain blockers. And, oh, we're missing one key card. The other card, the reason why Unmaking does so well is because it has what's called bounces. Now, there's two type of bouncing cards here, Bolt to Somersault and Gatemouth. So these cards are very traditionally, you know, these are the cards that are quote-unquote luck cards, but the fact of the matter is they're more advantageous. So I'll get back to, let me explain that a little more. By advantageous, what I mean to say is when the board's a even playing field, one bolt is almost the equivalent of taking a center town. And at times, due to how Unmaking is set up, all it needs to do is bounce you to another square because half the deck is blockers, so you can be rest assured wherever you bounce somebody, you can drop down a nice monster or terrain to where they're going to most likely want to step on next. Alright, so now here we go. So this is for an intermediate deck style. For more advanced players, I do recommend using more pumps, like I said before. But for now, we're going to stick to a very easy way to deck. This is more geared for beginners and intermediate. Um, Now, intermediate and beginners, now you're saying, okay, I put 4 of every quantity of all the decks, of all my cards. Now, I have to go back here and I ask myself, except for the Fingal is 2. Why did I put 4 of everything? Now we want to ask ourselves, let's go through every card and say, do I really need 4 of the card? Do I need 4 Bogart? Do I need 4 of the monsters? Monsters are almost always a yes, but we do have one here that I don't like. We have 4 Gatemouth here. Now 4 Gatemouth is 4 worlds, and I have 80 cards right now in my deck. So I actually don't even need these Gatemouths. They're really just too much. I'm just going to go down to 2. And even at 2, and I'm reducing that because I want a low probability chance to draw the Gatemouth. So that's why I'm only playing 2. They're very crucial because they're almost the only card that can save you against death in some tricky situations. So 2 is a good thing, or you can even drop down to 0 because we want to focus on speed. All the other monsters look good because that's what I need in this game. Alright, now we're playing a speedier deck, so what's it going to help me if I draw a Void early? So that being said, I'm going to drop the Void down to 3. Changing Land is kind of the same thing. I'd rather draw all my other monsters on the other left-hand side of this deck, so I'm going to drop that down to 3. Alright, bursts are 4. We knew one burst early on means one of these monsters is going to be cast, so that's good to go. 4 disintegrates is a pretty obvious one. Now 4 Entropia, I'm going to knock down to 3. And oh, it looks like I have missed one very important card here. 2 Unmagicking. So I'm going to drag and drop, but now you can see I'm using 79 cards. I can almost drop this down to 2 Entropia if I want to, but I'm going to leave it at 3. So 3 Entropia, because that stops Despair in all the towns, and 2 Unmagicking, because I want to draw that as much as I can. Alright, Fingal, I'm bringing this down to 1, because it was at 2. 1 means that when I get this draw early, you always must discard it. So the hopes is that you have 78 cards. If you go through about 30 cards in the middle of the game, you want to draw it in the late part of the game. So that's why if I get it early, oh well. If not, that's why 1. 2 is just too excessive. The goal of the deck is to make the card efficiency. Now we have 4 planes. We could probably drop that down to 3. Now Berserkers is only a late game card, so I'm going to drop that down to 2. Jinx is extremely powerful because Jinx helps us make all our monsters do what they need to do, so we can't drop that down. Now Source of World, we don't even have that many world spells in here. I'm even going to get rid of all my Source of Worlds because I want to draw a good percentage on this one. 4 Flaming Swords and 4 Veteran are perfect. 4 Straight Arrows. You could even drop them down to 1 if you wanted. Let's drop that down to 1. Alright. Now we have a great, solid 70 card deck. This deck is pretty good to go. And so this is an all-around, all-well-purpose deck. Most of your decks should be around 60 cards for certain houses, up into 80 to 90 on some cards. When you have an 80 or 90 card deck, most of those cards should be one to cast, maybe 2 to cast. But for the most part, that's the reason why decks can be 80 or 90 cards, because you want to cycle through them as fast as we can. Again, the only problem of this deck I see right now is that if now I sort all the cards by low to high mana, now you can see the right hand is all small mana spells here. Okay, so 4, 7, 8, 9, 11, 15, 18, 22, 26, about 30 cards out of 70 are 3 mana or less. That means that I should almost be always drawing a card, or I have almost 30 to 40% chance of drawing one of these guys early on, and that's what we need to do. To win in Sanctum means using every mana on every turn.